still my town. My town.
Hi, welcome back to Connecting Clarkston. This is season 3, episode 14. Today, Katie and I are sitting down with 2 community members, Sara Regiani and Sara Sanger. And we're going to talk a lot about community involvement and the history of, I think you guys have both been involved in the local community for a long time. Lots of things. And maybe people don't know about all the things that you've been involved in and what's happening in and around our community. So we'd love to spotlight and highlight things that are treasures for our community. So thanks for being here and welcome to our little show. Good to see you both.
Yes.
So we were just talking before, Sherry, because your son and my brother we're friends growing up. So obviously you guys have been in Clarkston a long time. How long and what's your connection to our community?
So originally we moved to Ortonville in '79. My husband built his practice, but Clarkston was the big city. There was an A&P. So that's how far back we go.
Yeah.
And as our family grew, we moved to Clarkston in '86. Got very active in the community because when you have kids, you get active if you want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been around for a while.
And how long has he had his practice since
'79.
Since 70, oh,
Since
wow.
'79, and we had 3 major renovations, ran out of room, we were landlocked, and moved the office physically to Clarkston in 2014.
And where is your office in Clarkston?
M15 and Oak Hill Road.
Okay.
And because I know that's holistic dentistry,
Yes.
has it always been that, or has that transitioned over the years?
So it transitioned in the first 2 years.
Okay.
We joke that if my husband could be anything other than a dentist, he would have been either an attorney or an investigative reporter. Because he's always facts, 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 facts. Don't tell me what you believe, tell me what is. And in February of '81, he took a class that was called cell morphology. You know, really exciting.
That sounds riveting.
Watching that cell level on a microscope, electron microscope, which were rare back then. We were out in Colorado Springs, and what happened when you introduced different materials and how the cell died with the introduction of mercury vapor. It's actually the mitochondria, the energy part of the cell. And when he came back, we're on the plane flying back, and he said, I can't do that anymore. I can't practice that way. I took an oath to do no harm. You know, all physicians, anybody in medicine does. I got to change. So that first thing Monday morning, he called our suppliers. I want this out. I want to get that in. He became a very known pioneer in the field of dental materials, especially for back teeth, because the standard was mercury silver-colored fillings. And like you said, once you know, you can't unknow.
He was so early on in identifying and making that change. And I feel like now kind of a lot more people have come around to that. But my gosh, so what year would that have been?
That was February of '81.
February of '81.
Wow. I mean, I don't want to open my mouth because I do have silver still.
I still do too.
So as something breaks down, what in our office recommends, and everybody has their own way of doing it, but in our office, if a silver-colored filling breaks down, it's actually half mercury. So they really, silver is only like 25% of it, but it's the color. It's like, you know, if you bought silver-colored earrings, were they nickel, were they just silver painted, or were they, you know, white gold? If it breaks down and you're already numb in that area, then you and your dentist can make the decision if you want to replace the other ones while you're there. But just in that quadrant, unless there's a medical reason and you're working with your physician, so we do a lot of that, working with other healthcare providers where they want all of the metals out.
So wait, you wouldn't, I know this isn't all about dentistry today, but this is sort of
here for it, yes.
Katie's a hygienist. Let's chat. So you wouldn't go, hey, I want to get all these removed and replaced. It's really, if you're there anyways, is that kind of the recommendation?
Generally, that's the recommendation, unless there's a health reason. So cardiac people, women with cancer with problems in their front teeth, especially breast cancer, there's a big relationship there. There are medical reasons why it's recommended. It's not a panacea. I mean, you can have all your fillings replaced with more biologically compatible materials, but Dave will be the first one to tell you only God can make a tooth. Like, no matter what we do, it's second best. But just because you have it replaced doesn't mean whatever you have is going to immediately get better or get better over time. you're removing a body burden, and then your physician takes over and expects to get a better result now that you don't have this still in your system.
I have to imagine you probably have patients that come from pretty far away to see you just because you were so early on and so health focused that you probably draw people from all over.
People fly in, people find us online. Again, they're referred by their healthcare providers in Michigan and outside of Michigan.
Okay.
Because I hate to say this, but every time you swallow or every time you chew, you're breathing and inhaling and you're swallowing the vapors. And so, so in the beginning he was considered a kook, like, no, there's no problem. And now he's looked at as one of the pioneers.
It's like, oh, you were so early in recognizing this. Yes.
Is there retirement in his future?
Funny story. I think his brain would explode if he retired. We do have 2 associates, one who's been with us for over 8 years. Dr. Kaji sees all the kids. She does a lot of airway. Factoid, people who are have sleep apnea start out as children with sleep disordered breathing. So if we can do some little interceptive steps when they're little, they grow to their genetic potential and likely won't have an apnea problem older. So it's a very cool thing. And now we just have a new associate with us, Dr. Aditi Patel, who is a Clarkstonite, came from Clarkston. She's just joined our practice. So he's getting back to 2 days a week. But actual retirement, probably not for a long time.
Oh, good. Wow, so your history is long and storied here in Clarkston. That's wonderful. And Sarah, how long have you been, or what's your connection to Clarkston?
Well, I met my husband not in Clarkston. He lived in Clarkston, and so I moved here to be with him 20 some years ago.
Okay.
So ever since then, I've been, finding things to do around the community, and we love Clarkston.
And you're currently president of the board for the Clarkston Village Players.
Clarkston Village Players, yes.
And that has a storied history. I mean, that's been around for how long? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so they started the organization. It was actually a group of Clarkston school teachers, and they wanted to do something with other adults because they taught children all day, and so they wanted to start this theater group. So they started back in, I think, 1961.
Wow.
The building that we're in now was an old train depot for Canadian Northern, I think, owns it now. And the original one with the witch's hat, you see the photos all over Clarkston, that burned down. And then they rebuilt most of it. We took it over. I think they retired the train depot in 59 or something like that. We took it over in 61, and then we started holding performances there in 62. It's really cool. It's got like the original paneling inside if you've ever been in the theater. And there was another fire there after the original one burned down. So the veneer on the wood paneling is kind of stippled a little bit. You can tell that there was a fire there. And then they added on, in the 80s, they added the lobby and indoor restrooms, and we've just been kind of trying to improve it bit by bit as we go. We can't make any more improvements, exterior improvements, because we don't own the land. So we own the building, but we lease the land, part of it, from the railroad. So
interesting. Well, and I know we always, I don't always, but I feel like whenever the Clarkston Village Players comes up, it's about the railroad and about the unique aspect of what happens during a performance. Has that always been the case?
In the old days, before we got better insulation and new siding, when the train went by, and it's really loud when the trains go by, the actors used to freeze on stage. And some of our older patrons will always come and say, "Oh, I remember when."
So I took my daughter to a play. Was it Mean Girls? Did you guys have Mean Girls?
That was last year.
Yes. I was having a hard time remember, but it just came to me. And that's the first time I've seen a play there. But my mom would always talk about how, the actors freeze. And so I was expecting that to happen, and I was kind of surprised that it didn't. So I wanted to ask you about that. So that's because now the building...
It's better insulated. I mean, it's still...
It wasn't like disruptive. Like you knew that the train was going by. Nobody froze. But I also felt like, gosh, that's a really long train. And it didn't... You could still hear and everything. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad we don't have to freeze anymore, because as an actor myself, you're up on stage, you've just said your line, you're waiting to say your next one, and then you have to freeze. And then you have to remember what line you're going to say next.
Yes.
And I've heard stories about how actors, they started laughing, or they broke, or they couldn't remember their next line.
Yes.
So
20 minutes later.
Yeah. We just tell people, just get loud, be louder,
Yes.
and keep going.
Oh, geez, that's funny. So how long have you been involved with them?
I've been part of the theater since 2012.
Okay.
So it's been a while. It was my husband's fault. He actually, we were both actors in college, high school and college, and he was, every day we'd drive by the theater and you know, what is that little building there? Everybody says that. And he's like, you know what, I'm gonna audition for a show. And I was actually working with someone who was a member of Clarkston Village Players, and so I said, hey Jen, when's auditions for your next, well, they're this weekend. So he auditioned, he got a part, and we've been involved ever since.
Oh, that's so fun. And it's, okay, it started as for teachers, and now it's for the community at large. Is it, are kids involved now?
Well, we have the youth theater productions in the summer. So we run a summer program specifically for youth ages 10 to 18. And it used to be that they wanted to keep the Clarkston Village Players only for adults, so 18 and up to be a member. Okay. We're starting to incorporate a few productions where we can have a student or two in them, just to give them a little incentive. Yeah. But it's most of our productions are for adults.
Okay. And is it all volunteer?
All volunteer. Yep. And community theater, especially in the Detroit metro area, there's a lot of community theaters, and folks used to be more loyal to one theater, but now they go wherever the show is that they want to do.
Yeah.
So we have people drive from Novi and Farmington Hills and Fenton, Holly, all over the Detroit metro area.
Yeah. Okay. And your upcoming show is called Picasso, right?
That's the November show.
That's November.
So we
okay.
have one that's opening in September, right after Labor Day. Okay. It's called Sandy Toes and Salty Kisses. Oh. So that's kind of a farce. It takes place at this bed and breakfast resort that are known for, you know, casuals, vacations, and a girl brings her mother there because she wants to get married, and there is a mix-up between who's the fiance and who's not, and they're supposed to have a wedding designer, and the wedding consultant, and she doesn't show up, so the maintenance man of the resort ends up dressing up like Madame Coco, and so it's going to be really funny.
Yeah. Do you have wait lists for actors? Do you have trouble finding actors, or are people like clamoring kind of get in the next show? Like, how does that availability work with you guys?
It's really dependent on the show. Okay. Like I said, we have actors, they go where the show is that they want to do. So sometimes we have a huge turnout for auditions, depending on the show and the time of year, and sometimes we're calling people, begging them to, you know, please, will you play this role?
Yeah.
So our daughters are both going into 7th grade, but my daughter tried out for Shrek at the theater on M59, the children's theater. I can't think
Starlight?
of the name. Thank you. So that was our first dipping our toe into anything. They had 2 days of auditions. We showed up a few minutes early. The line was insanity. Both days, they had so many kids. So I think it's interesting. I just wanted to say with theater, I do think there's like such an interest in it. Which I think is excellent to see. And when you're saying like you're mostly adults, I feel like that's kind of nice to have that I mean, I think it's nice to occasionally have children in it, but I think it's such a nice thing for the community to have a place where adults are able to do this as well.
Right.
And then is there any connection with like the drama club here?
Oh yeah, we work really closely with Amy Seaman and the Clarkston Drama Club.
Okay.
They actually do performances at Clarkston Village Players, so they have their Christmas show that they take around to the elementary schools, and then she'll bring them to CVP, and they'll do a weekend of shows for the public. If they didn't get to see their kids perform or whatever. Yeah, we're also always sharing costumes back and forth and props and set pieces and a lot of the Clarkston High School kids participate in our summer program.
Okay. Oh, good. Do you guys ever have music involved in, do you do musicals ever?
Well, glad you asked that. In the past, the adult theater has done a musical occasionally because we're so small.
Yeah.
It's a little challenging, and that's why we don't do huge musical. You'll never see Les Mis at our theater. But I've been a huge proponent of musical theater because it draws in a different type of actor, and patrons really like musicals. So this year, our season includes a musical for the adult theater. It's called the Spitfire Grill.
Oh.
It's in January. I'm directing. And then we do a musical for the youth in the summer.
Oh, fun. How many plays do you do every year?
We do 5 main shows
Okay.
on the adult side, and then we do the summer program for the kids. We also, we're starting to do a second season where we have like an improv night, or in October on the 29th, we're doing scary stories. So people can participate. It's kind of like an open mic. We also have an open mic night. And so we're trying to use the theater when it's kind of in between productions.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. I was thinking about music because I wanted to ask you about the Clarkston Community Band. Now, I know your husband's very involved, right?
He's involved.
Tell us a little bit about what that is.
So the Clarkston Community Band is actually one of the oldest bands in the country.
Oh, okay.
It goes back to the 1890s, I believe, and somewhere along the way, it just kind of fell out of fashion. Don't know what happened, but in 1996, Jean Pierce, who was another community volunteer, very active in the schools, said, we should do this again. And she started the band. Dave didn't get involved until I think year 2 or 3. Jean stayed about a half a dozen years. Vince Crispin followed her, and he was there for maybe 10 years or so. Shelley Rolland took after that. I think there may have been some interim or guest conductors. But it's an all-community, again, volunteer band. They've started allowing high school kids to play in. And some of these high school kids are amazing and accomplished and really good. So they put on 3 to 4 concerts a year. Sometimes one year there were concerts in the park. They work on their schedules because most of the adults in this band have real-life jobs. Some are retirees and have more time. But they all take it very professionally, just like CVP. It's a fun group. They rehearse at, I think it's the middle school, the one that's on the east side of town, every Tuesday night when school starts. So a little plug, anyone who's got an instrument and knows how to read music and would like to get involved again, because they do start people at various levels. And it's a fun thing. The concerts are great. The Christmas concert is amazing. They have a Santa who, if your little children are listening, turn them away. Looks like he came out of the North Pole. And behaves like he came out of the North Pole. He is adorable, but he also comes in and conducts a little bit.
Oh, that's
as
fun.
Santa, and then they do pictures afterwards. So it's a wonderful opportunity for families to come out and hear some good music, and each show has a different theme, but the Christmas concert, that's always very full and very enjoyable.
My clarinet days ended in 8th grade, and I've forgotten everything, so I will not be showing up on Tuesday. But I do think, like you're very involved, a lot of kids in the marching band, in band, and then all of a sudden, I think maybe you play in college, maybe you don't, but you have this great talent, something you were super passionate about, so I do think that that's a nice thing to have this place where you can go.
And it really is.
Continue on.
And the nice thing is they don't restrict it. So in some bands, because we've been to other band festivals, we only have a certain number of clarinets, and I played flute, high school.
Okay.
Flute, oboe, piccolo. So we only have 6 flautists. No, the band they'll take as many as they can because not everybody can play at each concert.
Okay.
So now you have a sub, and they'll choose music appropriate to what they have, which is really good. Shelley Rollin passed away sadly in February, but Angie Shai had been the interim director and continued the same wonderful, welcoming atmosphere of, if you want to play, come join us, and we'll just make it work.
Okay.
So, you know,
Do you have to
something
audition or?
You know, I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Like if I show up with my clarinet.
Okay, first you would need a reed that's not back from high school.
Yes. You're like, okay, we've never done this before, but.
So I really don't know, but that would be something that you could, through the schools, contact the community band, and there will be more information in the Clarkston News as the season begins.
Okay.
I think they start maybe 2 weeks after school starts.
Okay. So the Clarkston schools is where
Yes.
you would start with that? Okay.
Yes.
But I know you're involved in that, or your husband's involved in that, but you've been involved in so many organizations. Where are you currently pouring your time into for the community?
Right now I'm a grandma to a almost 15-month-old. That's where all my time goes.
Yeah.
But I played handbells for over 20 some years now. I play particularly for Clarkston United Methodist Church, but I also sub in different communities. I sub in Rochester frequently. So that takes a lot of my time.
Yeah.
And I have a set of toy handbells when my granddaughter's old enough. Yeah, we'll start her on the right path.
Yeah.
We do see you super involved with the chamber. I do think, so one thing I wanted to mention, and I had mentioned this in our last episode, we just had Tanya Cunningham from Clarkston Coalition on.
Yeah.
And I had talked about how when we created Clarksonopoly, they had a game in the, a card in the game, and Regiani Dental has one
We
or
have two
two.
cards.
I thought
Yeah.
you guys did one of each.
Yes.
And we also put one in for the Village Players because we were trying to like pull in all different parts of the community, and we did feel like the Village Players definitely needed to be represented
Thank
in
you.
the game. I feel like I was going somewhere else with this thought, and it's left my brain. So go
If I
ahead.
can interject. Clarksnopoly is really fun, and if you've played it with your family, you kind of forget about the business in town and the different organizations. So as you're playing it with your kids, you're like, oh, are they still here? Like, does this still happen?
Yes.
And my
well,
kids are
and
grown-ups.
Unfortunately, the bake shop is
Oh,
not
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
We also recently filmed an episode with Body by Adi, who has expanded into that location.
Yeah.
So it is funny that all of our recent episodes are all represented in Clarksonopoly.
Yeah.
But that's where I started, as I was going to say, at our launch party that we had at the Clarkston Family Farm. You were there, and I feel like you guys have been pretty good supporters and active with the farm, the
farm,
chamber.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, okay, so you make friendships over time, and we've known so many of these people for so many years. I think it's a shame when people don't get involved with the community. We have so many opportunities, and every organization is so welcoming. If you had a volunteer come and say, hey, can I help paint something, I'm sure you wouldn't say, oh, got enough, sorry.
No, yeah, please, we need volunteers. Yeah.
And everybody who is volunteering because of a passion or for a reason, so you naturally form a bond starting right there.
Yes.
Then you go have coffee afterwards or a glass of wine,
Yeah.
stop at Honcho's. You know,
Yeah.
we have a very cool community.
Yeah. I think I agree. And everybody we talk to, and we're always trying to spotlight and show people in our community, maybe you don't know what the Clarkston Village Players are all about. Been around for literally decades, but they may not know exactly, or they may not know that there was a Clarkston Community Band. And so I think one of the cool things we get to do is, highlight these things. And I also am curious, since you guys are both so involved, do you have a recommendation, or what would you say to people who want to get more involved but don't know exactly how? I mean, you've done it a lot, so what is a way to get people to take that step?
Okay, I would say threefold approach. If you have kids in the school system, contact other parents. There are parent groups everywhere. If they're in sports, if they're in band, if they're in drama, if they're not in an organized group, you'll still find something through the schools. If that doesn't work, there's this very cool app called Connecting Clarkston.
Oh my gosh, Regiani. Favorite guest right here.
But when we're sitting home on a Thursday or Friday and we look at, this is going to be a gorgeous weekend, well, let's see what's going on in town.
Very cool.
So you don't have to leave Clarkston often.
Yeah.
That's the best part. So as you go and venture into these things and you hear what other people are doing, oh, what I need to do to get volunteered. Don't be shy to ask.
Right.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Somebody says, well, I don't know, I'll direct you to so-and-so. Usually it's like, oh, sure. Yeah, this is when we meet. This is how we do it.
Yeah, and I think too, if you have a skill and you want to share it, like with Clarkston Village Players, you don't have to be an actor to be part of our organization. We need construction people to help us build sets. We need painters. We need people who can sew to do costumes. Anything like that, you can find somewhere that needs your help or somewhere to participate in. And I live down the street from the Clarkston Family Farm, and I love to go there. I mean, Chelsea does a great job with her events. And so welcoming. And
she has grown that. This is now, I think, year 9 or 10. I think this is 10 now. From just an idea of we don't want a big box store on this corner to, well, we could do this. And Chelsea and her husband going, well, somebody could. Who is somebody? And again, that's another very welcoming group. So anyone in the community who participates in anything, or even, let's say, the farm, visits the farm, joins the CSA, whatever, hey, could you ever use some volunteers? You got a connection. You got a place to be.
That's good advice. Ask. I think that's like the biggest thing. Be available. And I like what you said too, because I think it's a little intimidating, or can be intimidating, to say, well, I'm not an actor. I'm not an actress. Like, I don't know what would my role be. So it's good to know there's other things that are, definitely needed, other skills that are definitely highly needed for
I do think as an adult too, and maybe moving into a new community where maybe you don't have connections, it's hard to get plugged in. And I feel like these are two really great opportunities where you can, join, meet people, get connected, and who knows where it leads from there.
But if you are an actor or actress, what is the next thing that is available for auditions for your?
So we are auditioning for Picasso at the Le Pinagile. So that's our November show. Auditions are this coming weekend, Sunday and Tuesday. Sunday evening and Tuesday evening at 6:30. So Picasso at the I don't know how to say it, Le Pinagile.
We definitely don't know how to say
it. It's written by Steve Martin, the actor-comedian. He's written a couple really good plays. We did The Underpants a couple of years ago, which was hilarious. But so it's about Picasso having an imaginary conversation with Albert Einstein. And it takes place in this little Parisian cafe. And there's a couple different interesting characters that come and go. So that we're auditioning for that, and then the next auditions would be in mid-October for the musical Spitfire Grill. Oh, nice.
And what is the time commitment if you audition and get into the play?
So we're all usually working adults. So we rehearse in the evenings, either at the theater. We're also using the Methodist Church a little bit if there's a conflict with rehearsal space. It's usually 2 to 3 evenings a week for a couple hours. Usually about 6 to 8 weeks before the production. And then our productions run 3 weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the first 2 weekends, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the last one.
And what's the capacity of the theater?
We can seat 59. 59 people. It's very intimate as theaters go. Yes.
But it is just such a cool.
I know.
Like, have you ever been to another theater that's anything like that? Are there other such tiny?
Yeah, not in this area. I mean, there are some other community theaters that have smaller facilities, but I think we're like one of the smallest. Yeah, it's just a really interesting, and as an actor too, is an interesting experience because you're not way far away from the audience. We don't mic people. We don't need mics in that space. So it's.
Yeah, I bet it's an intimate experience for both the actor and the people in the audience, because you're sharing this space. Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I kind of like that though. Oh, cool.
So from the audience perspective, we just think it's really cool when you have set changes. Because there's no room, and somehow you make it work.
We have no wing space and nothing backstage. We don't have fly space like in the high school auditorium. They press a button or whatever and it goes up, but no, we don't. We have to be very creative. Very creative.
Well, it's a cool outlet for people who have a passion for acting, and same with like the community band. You have a passion for playing instruments, and you get to come and do that with people who are like-minded. And it just seems like some of the things are, I think some passions are easier to engage in than others, and it's really neat that our community has so many different options. And that's what we keep discovering, new options every time we talk to people. It's like, oh, this is such a neat thing we have going on here. We were talking before about this, where we are right now, this independent television resource. Like, I think our community, for being a small town, has so much to offer.
Oh, definitely.
And it's fantastic. So yeah. Well, thanks, you guys. We appreciate you
thank
coming
you.
here. And,
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, telling us all about what's happening in our town. Now, before we go though, where can we find more information about the Clarkston Village Players?
Clarkston Village Players, go to clarkstonvillageplayers.org. It's our website. So it has all the information about the upcoming shows, auditions. We also have a Facebook page, so we try to push it out that way as well.
We're going to work to pull all of your auditions and plays into the app calendar as
Oh,
well.
okay.
And then also the community band, we'll work on getting that all added in. So
And where did you say to go for info on that?
You could just Google Clarkston Community Band.
Okay.
Right now, they are interviewing for a new director.
Oh, okay.
Since Shelley's passed away. I don't know where they are in that process because this is summertime.
Okay.
But there will be more information coming out. It will be on the website and their Facebook page and on Connecting Clarkston.
thank you, yes.
That's a great plug. And on your website, is there also opportunity to volunteer? Like, is there a volunteer button if people want to volunteer?
That might be something we should develop. We do have a membership form, so if anyone's interested in volunteering or becoming a member, we do have that form available they can download.
Okay. Fantastic. Yes. Look for all of this on the Connecting Clarkston app.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
ladies.
guys.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time. Thanks for joining us.
This podcast is brought to you by Independence Television, located inside Clarkston High School. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Independence Television, Independence Township, or Clarkston Community Schools.